story is quite long, and it began when Kian was around 1 year old. He was a baby. I was a first-time mom. He started experiencing health issues regarding his breathing around 1 year old. He started having a runny nose that would last for months, and every visit to a pediatrician would end up the same way. They would say, just live with it. Around 17 months, he had his first episode of bronchitis. It was really bad. Since then, he started having issues with his breathing, and every winter he would have multiple episodes of bronchitis. His nose would be stuffy the whole winter season. He would have a stuffy and runny nose at the same time. So nasal breathing was not possible at all. He was breathing with his mouth the whole time. When he was 3 years old, he was diagnosed with asthma. Doctors didn't know what the cause was. They were like, yeah, his immune system is fighting something, we don't know what. So just take medication, corticosteroids, nasal sprays. At first they worked, but then nasal sprays stopped working and we had to increase the dosage and more medication. Every winter season was miserable for us. He would get so sick. He was struggling. He would not have good night's sleep, breathing with his mouth the whole time, all night long. When he was around 4 years old, I became really concerned because he would have symptoms borderline sleep apnea. I would listen to him at night and his breathing would stop for a few seconds multiple times a night. That's when I became really concerned. We went and saw multiple ENTs in Italy and Switzerland, and all they recommended was tonsillectomy and adenoidectomy, promising us that my child will start breathing with his nose. I was at the beginning stage of my research, and for some reason my motherly instincts told me that this was not the right course to solve Kian's problem. So I continued my research. I made a decision that if I don't find any other solution for his health issues, then we will return to the option of surgery. So in 2022, I found a startup company that was specialized in oral appliances. They were more like a corrective oral appliances that Kian wore only at night and 1 or 2 hours during the day. It looks like a mouth guard, but it helped guide the tongue to the roof of the mouth. So when he was wearing it at night, his breathing at night would a little bit get better, but during the day he was still breathing with his mouth all the time. And in the big picture, it didn't change anything for us because even though that appliance helped guide the tongue to the roof of the mouth, there was still not enough space for the tongue to be where it had to be. So after 8 months of wearing that appliance, I realized that we're going nowhere with this. So I continued research. I found an orthodontist in Milan. I reached out to them. It was already 2023. I asked them if they could do something for my child. It was a good orthodontist studio. And they said, we use Schwartz appliances on kids, but we do not work with kids of his age. At that time, he was 8 years old. They told me to wait till he is 12 or 13, and I said that we can't wait anymore because I've been waiting for so many years and I really want to help my child be a healthier human being. And I was already at that stage of my research where I understood that it has to do with his narrow palate. I practically had to beg them to accept us as patients. And they did. They said, okay, we will try, even though we can't promise good results because his permanent teeth are not out. But at that point, I was ready to do anything. It was better than doing nothing. So we did that. He had the Schwartz appliance for 9 months, and it gave us some expansion of the upper palate. 9 months, he reached the point where another millimeter and he would have a scissor bite, which was not great at all. I kept looking and looking for specialists in the US, in Europe, and I found Renata, our amazing functional therapist, who meeting her was really life-changing. We started with myotherapy. We did 6 months of active therapy, retrained Kian's muscles, the tongue muscles and all the muscles around his tongue. because they were lazy and they were weak, and his tongue had to be taught and retrained to stay in the roof of his mouth. So that was the first life-changing stage. She said that she knows a lot of specialists around the world, and she said, I know this really amazing doctor in Vienna. Reach out to her and see what she can do. Of course, without any hesitation, I reached out to you. I asked for an online consultation, and that's where our journey with Dr. Pinter began. It was honestly the best decision I made for my child health-wise. Really, I get emotional. We came to Vienna to put the appliance. At first, it seemed like very aggressive because, screws in the upper palate. At first, I thought, oh my gosh, my poor child. But the procedure really went so well, and in reality, it's much easier than what it looks like, especially with children. I don't know, for some reason they handle everything so well. And what was amazing about this whole procedure was that we addressed both the upper and the lower jaw. With the help of aligners, we moved to the lower teeth, and really it was a tremendous change in his whole health. Just in general, he became healthier. He stopped snoring at night completely, which was unbelievable because he was snoring and he was having all these issues for years. It was like a vicious circle because I didn't know what to do, how to solve it. It was just an amazing change. Kian, before that, he would have a really tired look, really dark circles under his eyes. He was tired very often. He would have hard time waking up. There was quite frequent bedwetting, and after the treatment, quietly breathing through the night, through his nose. He's breathing through his nose most of the time during the day. We continue doing myofunctional therapy. It's been amazing for me as a mother to observe my child improve so much. He doesn't have bronchitis anymore. Occasional stuffy nose, which is normal during winter season, but nothing extreme. He sleeps well, he is active, and it's been life-changing, and I'm so thankful for you, Dr. Claudia, for our myofunctional therapist who helped us meet. And I just hope that more parents get access to this kind of information and this treatment as an option and not jump to surgery. It's not scary, it's super easy. So I'm very thankful for you, Dr. Claudia. You changed our lives. I know that we are not at the end of our journey, but it's been amazing and we're so thankful. And yes, just thank you from the bottom of my heart and Kian's heart and our whole family.